Hello, this is Johnny. I want to do a quick video about this screen that I've just purchased, and I thought it was a very cool screen. It's supposed to be an IPS, that's what they say. It's a 5-inch screen from here to here, but then I realized a lot of stuff that I have is not a 5-inch screen. It's actually 4.3. So but if you have any project that you're working on that is 5.0 screen, then you could use this screen. And then it's a touch screen, but this Raspberry Pi, it doesn't support Raspberry Pi, but we support like a GUI version where, like Linux version of the desktop, and it does support Windows computer. Okay. And one thing the reason I like about this is, let me go over the reason why. Well, first, this is using the dynamic dual image Raspberry Pi 4. Most of the smaller screen, they kind of sandwich it, meaning the Raspberry Pi and the video card are sandwiched together. So all the GPIO is all what you call it. Now this one have a very nice because I'm using the ice. I wonder if I could show you. I don't have the keyboard plugged in, but the temperature is very good because I'm using the ice towel. Now the ice towel, if you're using the ice towel, you don't really need a case. You just put it in the ice towel and it should just work. So let me plug in a keyboard and I'll show you what is the temperature using the ice towel. Okay, so if you press F4, let's press F4. Okay, so if you was to, let me bring this up closer. So as you, I just touched the fence. It just scared me. Sorry. Alright, because the fan spin. See the temperature on this. Put the keyboard on against something. Let's keep on. Okay. See the temperature is actually very nice. It's only 38 Celsius. Okay. So that temperature is very nice. It's very cool. So you don't want to go more than 80 or 60 because then it will be overheated. Now the screen is very nice because you can see on the left and on the right and the top, the screen is beautiful. The only part is when you go down, then it gets a little bit darker, and then at this point you can't see, but if you go past that, then you can still see it pretty well. Like if you look straight from the bottom, it look okay. So there is little bit of this angle right here between right about 75 degree and 45 degree is the part that the screen color is not clear. Okay, so I don't know if this is defected, but it's supposed to be, you could see it in any angle. See right here is good, but when you reach here at this, from here to here, that is not going to see the color good. Then here you're good again. All right, so there is a little bit. So if you're going to make a vertical screen, you will have this problem where somebody looking right in your shoulder, you won't be able to see well. But if you're looking straight across, like in the side, see, it's good. This side is good. But when you reach over here, that's when you cannot see the color, kind of faded, and then see right here between a little bit of a 10%, this angle here is not good. So that's the only downside that I see on this screen. Okay, now let me go back and let it boot up to the main screen again. Now this is using Raspberry Pi 4. Now Raspberry Pi 4, they tend to be overheated easily than Raspberry Pi 3. So this is, and plus this one I got is Raspberry Pi 4B 8GB. It's the latest one, 8GB, which cost me more money than the 4GB. This is a 64-bit 8GB Raspberry Pi 4. Okay, so I have a Raspberry Pi 4 using virtual image, but this is a dynamic dual. It supports track mode as well. So if you go to the option, you will also able to now also support dual screen. So you could I can't find a screen that is this small and right on top, but I did find one for like an arcade one up countercade. It won't be here till March because I think Chinese New Year is coming. So people, if you buy stuff from eBay or from AliExpress, they're going to a New Year break for a month. So you're not gonna get anything anytime soon until March, unless you place the order before February, then you might be able to get it. But yeah, the game here play very well. The 128GB dynamic dual, but the only thing is that 128GB do not have enough space to download the what you call it, the bezel. It doesn't have enough space to run the bezel. So I was talking about track mode. See, you could go into the track mode right here, and you could and the screen is very clear, very crystal clear. I was very impressed. I really like this 5 inches, and the reason I like about this one so much compared to the other one, I do have a screen protector on it, so let's look at it like that. Okay, now the only thing that this thing is plugged into is this power is coming from Raspberry Pi. Now this one is sandwiched together. This is the video 1, this is video 2, so you could plug another video here, and this thing is not sandwiched to the video card because the video card is at the bottom. Okay, you just pretty much put the Raspberry Pi right on top of the screen with a little bit of pin. Now the problem with the little pin is you cannot change it to a longer one, which I did, and then this won't fit because this is exactly, you cannot adjust this. This is a permanent fit thing, so you have to use the little metal that it comes with. So but the problem with this one is the screw is longer, so and this down here the base is real short, so you have a gap. So I added that metal nut between it, but because there's a gap, and so I didn't like the idea there's a gap, so I put that to keep the gap. Then I put the screw on top to put this thing right on top. Okay, the ice tower, this ice tower, the lay down is better than the one that's standing up. I mean, not this is standing up, laying down. Okay, so if you're gonna get the ice tower, get the one that's, they're the same price, just get the one that's standing up. Now this one, when it first came, I was having a little bit problem because all the aluminum was kind of bent, and I had to straighten it out and fix it. I think it's more like this side. See that? You can right away see it's all bent up together. See that? It's all bent, and I try to fix it as good as I can. And I bought this long time ago, so I really lost the return policy to get a replacement. I didn't know it was so bad on this side, so bent up. So check it before you assume it's working, because a lot of times they only give you 30 days, so you want to check everything. So since I added extra piece here, I will not have to add a copper at the bottom. Okay, even by adding a copper, you normally don't have to add a copper, because if you put a screw correct size, you shouldn't have to do that. But since I put one longer, and I have to add an extra piece because this nut is real shallow and the screw is long, so why not have a gap? So I add that, so that make this a real taller, so I have to add a copper and a copper. Now copper is the best way to reduce the heat on the system. The other one I use aluminum, is okay, they don't really use up that much, but copper is the one you want to use for the main CPU. Okay, and this one actually bring the heat down. Now the fan power is coming from this motherboard, so you have, and then the power that this video is coming is getting from here. So going from, now in the Amazon, I'll put on the description, Amazon, it show you it come with 2 of this, but it doesn't. It only come with 1, because Raspberry Pi 4 and Raspberry Pi 3B, they both use the USB to micro USB, and this is micro USB. So they have the same adapter. So they only give you 1 instead of 2, because it's on the advertisement. It says it's supposed to come with 2, but it's only 1. And then and then there's a speaker. Now speaker is pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and show you the speaker. See, so all the pin is free, so you can use it and plug anything you want. And then the volume control is up here, and there's a bright light, and then the volume up and down. Okay, so this one does have a built-in speaker, and it have a built-in touchscreen. So if you want to use it for your computer, you just unplug this, unplug that, and plug this directly to the TV, to your laptop, HDMI, and then you have to plug the power down here to give this a power. Okay, now let me go ahead and show you the sound, the gameplay, and so you guys could hear how good the speaker is with the sound, because the video that they did on the Amazon, they did not show you how the sound will work. Now the setup, I'll put the setup information for you, how I got this setup working, because they give you a little information how to set it up, and you have to type it out. So if you're gonna buy it, you could copy mine and then paste it on your config.ini, which is right here. So you gotta type all this exactly the same thing based on what they have on this piece of paper to make that work. Now for Raspberry Pi, now there's one thing that you have to keep in mind is they want you to mark this out, but this is already marked out. So if you're using dynamic dual, you don't have to worry about that. That part is already been have a pound sign put on top of this this command line. So, but there's one thing here that I have to change it to. I think I had to change one of them to a 2. Let's see. It's in the back of troubleshooting, where it talk about there's no sound right here, no sound. So your HDMI drive, you need to set it to a 2 instead of 1. So HDMI drive is here, is set to 1. HDMI drive set to 1. So when I first started the system, I'm like, why there's no sound? Okay, so I'm like, that's weird. So let me go ahead and turn the sound up, because the screen itself have sound. Okay, that's the brightness. So let's go ahead and make the real bright, and let's go ahead and turn the sound up. So you can hear the sound is pretty good. All right, so let's play one of the game. I like to play the Atomic Wave, because Atomic Wave only work on Raspberry Pi 4, and it do not work on Raspberry Pi 3B. Okay, so that's why I like to have Raspberry Pi 4. So I got the sound on max, so that's the loudest it get based on what you're hearing. So if you have another screen, you could plug it and put it on top. You could have marquee. So I'm making my countertop, arcade countertop with the extra marquee. Now I added the bezel for this one because there's only 30 games, so it allowed me to. But when I tried to do with the arcade made, it went out of space. It won't let me install it. So you might want to burn the 128 gig on dynamic dual. It's called a CRT blast. So it's pretty loud. Okay. Now let's go ahead and power this off and test it on the PC, on the computer, and so you can see if the touchscreen work or not. So let me go ahead and quit. Do a shutdown. Okay. So I'm going to turn this off, unplug this, and unplug this keyboard and the joystick. Okay. So I'm using this big joystick that I create, which is way too big. I have to create a smaller one. Now I want to go over this real quick with you. Somebody asked me, I have put Raspberry Pi on this machine. This is the RS. It's actually, let's see how big this is. You probably could fit this one over this. See that? Based on the size. See, I'm touching the edge of it. You could actually fit this in here with the 5.0. Okay. Now you might want to cut the blue, kind of cut that blue off, because this is only a 4.3. So if you want it to be a 5 inches, you have to cut the blue thing out. Okay, now this one I use Raspberry Pi 3B, but I didn't like the idea that the video card that I bought from Adafruit, and it was a sandwich. Okay, and I bought this special card that I got. I will give you the link how this is all set up. See, I didn't like the idea it was sandwiched up together, so I use this special cable, so that way I could add heat sink and fan to it, because I want this to be able to cool down. All right, and one thing good about this setup is a battery driven. So you buy this adapter that this guy sell, and you just plug everything in. You use the same key, you use the same joystick and everything. Okay, and then the speaker is down here. Now somebody asked me, now this is using the motion. It's not really a ticking thing. So I went and got me this little car, and pretty much is exactly the same size and the same width. So I could actually replace those, replace this piece of board, take this out, and pretty much put this in here. Okay, and pretty much screw this in with the same spot and replace this. Okay, and then change the joystick with this one. Now this one is a wobble. The guy says a wobble, joystick. It's not as bad compared to some of the other one, the bigger model one, the AIW. Now the AIW, I went and used this joystick. Now I believe it should work with this one too, because if you look at it, okay, but it will fit nicely down here. Okay, what you do is you will have to take this piece out because you already have this white cover on top, so you have to take this piece out like so. Okay, and then just put this in here. Okay, and this one have the micro switch, so you could hear the micro switch. So those of you who want to make this a RetroArcade feel, you could use a micro switch. Now if you don't like this plastic, you could take this plastic out and you will see a metal, because it is a metal in here. So those of you who like the metal look, you know, like, because most arcade stick have the metal look, it doesn't have the plastic. So if you don't like the plastic, you could take this rubber out and it would just be the metal in here, and that's showing, and then you could, you know, would have more of a RetroArcade feel. And that's what I was thinking about doing, was to replace this with this. Now you might say, well, Johnny, how do you make that work? Okay, I learned this from one of the Korean guy video. He was modding the A13. He took all the button and all the button on here, they have a star select button. He replaced it with one of this. Okay, and what I did is I bought a box of the little tic tac, they call it tic tac, the micro switch button. And the yellow one have an issue putting on that board because it have an extra little black thing that is in the way of the board. So I did not use this yellow one. Okay, now they have a pin number which is listed. Let me see if I could read this. Okay, so based on reading this correctly, that's a 4. I can't even read this correctly, but anyway, you want the 2 pin that is close on the same side, so you want a positive and negative. Okay, so if you put that in here, you have to pick one. So if you pick one, I will pick one as a black for ground, and then the red one will go to not this one. Okay, I believe it's called 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe. Right now I can't see the number. Oh, they label it 1, 3. They label it 1, 3, 2, and 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I would recommend using, I'm sorry, they label this 1, 2, 3, 4. So use a 1 and 3. Sorry, use a 1 and 3. It's hard to see the number, but if you're gonna go by the number, the way they label is 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. So 1 and 3 is on top. So use 1 as a ground, and then this one for this. So if you was using a joystick, you will solder the pin, one here and one here, and then you plug it in. So for example, I could use one of this stuff that I bought. So those of you who was interested in doing this, you could use one of this. So you're gonna use 2 female cable. So they have a different, they have female and a male. So let's go get a black and white to demonstrate this. Now if you're going to solder it, you will not use female. Okay, if you're going to solder it, then you will just solder it in the back. Okay, it's hard to see, everything is silver. Okay, so the top one is the one you're going to put the cable on here, the black and then the red, and then down here you just push it up to keep it from moving, and you can put it on this board. Okay, so what I did is I tested because I didn't know which pin to use. You only need to use 2 of them. Okay, either this side or this side, doesn't matter. Okay, but not across. Okay, so if you was to use the cable, for example, you could put the black for ground on one, and then the white for the other one, and then you could plug this to the arcade stick, and then this you could click. Okay, then to put that thing on top, you just added this on top, like so, and then that would be your joystick. Okay, and then what I did is I take this, and I got one of this box, and this box come with a whole bunch of different size that you could use, and the one that I used was the one that one that you see on the table. So it come with all these different size. So the one I used was the one under the one down here. This thing tend to move around everywhere. I put it back. So you want to use the one from here, okay? And so what I did is I just take one of this, okay? And I'm going to this right here. So I put it like this one right here. Put it like that, and then so the very first one I have it all the way on top. These two are the same on the top. This one I skip one line, okay, and this one I skip one line. This one I skip one. Now here I skip 2 space, and here I skip 2 space. So 2 space, 2 space, 2 space. Here same thing, 2 space. Okay, so if you was to do this one, you skip 2 space, it would be this one down here. So you skip 2, 1, 2, and then you put right here, and then you just pretty much just push it down. That's it. All right. And then the other one, you won't skip. You just skip 2 space. So the other one, you just take this. This one already have a top. You skip 1, 2. Okay. Skip 1, 2. Then you're gonna not be in the same spot. You're gonna move it. You're gonna move it all the way up to the top. And then you just push it in. If this is a little bit bent, you just need to push it out a little bit more. Then we'll kind of bend. 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, and up. Okay. So that'll be the second one, and then the next one will be the same. You just skip 1, 2. I think I started from this side, 1, 2, put it right here. Then let's move this one. You just pull. So that's show only one. So you gotta move it one more over. So you show 2 line here. And then the next one you show 2 line, but 1 down. So this too much over. So show 2 line, and that's, see, when you put it right here, it only show 1 line. So you need to move it one more over. Okay, so it's two line here. If you look over here, it's 2 line. So it's best to start from this corner and work your way. So if you look at the joystick, it's the same, it's straight across, and then this one is down, straight across and down. And this one, it have Raspberry Pi on it. Okay. So if you want your own button, you could use this kind of button, and it have a ticking noise. So this will be good. Now I don't think I have enough battery to boot that because I haven't charged the battery for a long time. So I don't think it's going to start the game. Okay, so that's how you created this motion blue cable. So you're gonna have one is yeah, I don't think I have enough power, and I think this image does not work well with this thing. I need to change. I need to put a different image. So I was going to put that one in because the temperature for that one, for this one in the back, is real good, and I believe it will fit with this thing in there like that. I'm not sure. Maybe the heat. Now, if you put Raspberry Pi, you don't need to use the towel. You could use a regular fan and put it in here. So that will. I'd rather use that than having that little, extra cable, because the way that video card, it was sandwiched with this, and the fan was facing the down direction instead of facing up. So I prefer using this to replace that one to do that. Okay, so I just want to go over that. Now, if you have problem where this is touching the base, if you put this on and this is touching the base, I recommend probably use a saw and saw this little piece off, or drill a little hole at the bottom, because if you look at it, it only touched a little bit of the round surface. Okay, so if it's really bothering you, what you could do is cut a little hole at the bottom, and then it will work. Okay, so this little joystick should work with this. Okay, all right, so I just don't have time to do the whole thing because I'm still working on my study. I'm trying to get a networking job, so I need to get my resume updated by going back and get certification. So without getting this, with a degree and experience, sometimes it's still hard to get a job because the skill set, they want you to have a current skill set. So I will have to go back and get certified, Cisco certification, and plus the Microsoft. Now this is the power that I use for Raspberry Pi 4. So if you're wondering what power I use, this is the one I use. Okay, for power, USB-C Pi 4. This is the best one. And then this is the tower, ice tower that I use for cooling the fan. All right, so let me show you what it looked like if you plug this into the window. Okay, so if you take this and you use any power, so let me take a power. So first you have to take the Raspberry connection out. You just pull this. Okay, this is the power that's coming from Raspberry Pi, so you take that out because we're not using the Raspberry Pi. And then this is for the Raspberry Pi video. So this is the HDMI to micro HDMI. It's not mini HDMI, it's micro. So Raspberry Pi use the micro connection. Okay, so you want to take this out because this is for Raspberry Pi. Now we're gonna plug the power in back here using I believe they call this micro as well. Okay, the reason the fan is lit up because my fan is plugged into the video. Okay, that's why the fan is up. Now there's nothing plugged into it, so there's nothing showing. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug this from my back of my big screen. and then I'm going to plug it directly to the top, one on top of the, right on top of that. And there's my window. Okay, I got the touch screen working. You have to plug the video on top, okay, and this one you need to plug into the computer, to the laptop, okay, and the laptop will also give it the power. You're gonna plug it to this side, the right hand side, not the left hand side. There's another power here. Do not plug, it doesn't work here, okay? So you want to plug into this side. Now it also works with your finger as well, so you don't need to have a special pen, even though I have a pen that have a little soft thing on top, so you can move it up and down, you know, and click on it, watch Superman. Or you could use your screen, use your finger and make it bigger, and then you could play the video. Alright, and let's see if we could make this louder by pressing. Okay, so it's the loudest you get on this machine, and same thing up here with this one. Now let me see if I could make my laptop sound louder. But my mouse is on this side, so let me go to my, because I have it on 2 screen. So yeah, it's a maximum. So as you could see, I have on this screen, and I could drag something, you know, over to the other side, or I could come over this side and drag it over. So I could take that and then drag it over to here, see that? Or I could drag it back to this here. Alright, so you could do the same way. And you can make the screen bigger, and you could use your finger.
Crystal there activates the mechanism. Lex Luthor, ruler of Australia.
So that's why it's pretty cool. With this screen, you could, you know, go up and down.
With your permission.
You could watch another video using your regular finger.
I'm gonna be a little late for that meeting, alright, no problem. See if you can make it around 5 o'clock. It's gonna last.
Now this one video does not let you, you know, enlarge the screen, but you could.
Okay, we're ready for you. Come on in.
You can move around. So yeah, it worked nicely with Windows PC.
Okay, thank you all for coming back.
And that's the loudest you get on the sound.
As you know, we've auditioned thousands of actors for the role of Superman.
Alright, hope this helped. Those of you who's thinking about buying a small screen, this is a 5-inch screen, so you can use it for, you know, like the one I was showing you about. So let me go ahead and measure. Sorry, let me go ahead and measure this, show you how big this is. So from here to here is 5 inches. Okay, but the width is about 4.2. I mean 4.7. So let's make this screen brighter, and let's go ahead and pause this. Okay, so if you was to measure this, gonna cost, it's gonna be 4.7, and if you measure from here to top and bottom, it's gonna be exactly 3 inches. All right. So and if you measure diagonally from the black to black, it's about 5.5. So about 5 inches inside. 5 inches, and if you measure the black case, you'll be 5.5. All right, so this is a pretty good. If you guys are, you know, thinking of buying build a smaller arcade with using this motion, 6 button, and then you could use a little tiny joystick, so you could build yourself a little arcade like that. So that would work out pretty well. See, and the arcade would fit right here. So 5 inches is a perfect width to make yourself a joystick. Alright, that's all I just want to share with you guys. So that's pretty much. Thank you for watching. Talk to you later. Bye bye.